quiet my soul. Amen. Redemption till where your blood was spilled for my ransom. Everything I once held dear, I counted all as lost. Lead me to the cross where your love poured out. Bring me to my knees, Lord, I lay me down. Rid me of myself, I belong to you. Oh, lead me to the cross.
It looks like the same thing that I'm filming.
It says that on the night before Jesus died, he did something really cool. He went up into a room with his disciples, and he sat down at a long table with them. All of his disciples. He even sat down with the one that was going to betray him. He sat down. And as he sat there, can you imagine what Jesus was feeling at that time? Jesus knows, knew, will know, does know, did know, is going to always know everything. He was God that left heaven and came down to what? Earth. He left heaven and came down to just to hang out with us. And he knew the next day he was going to be killed. They were going to kill him the next day. So he decided to have a last meal with his friends. There's a bread that you guys are going to have. Could somebody bring me a piece of bread and the cup, please? There's a bread that you're going to have right now. It's called unleavened bread. The reason why they call it unleavened bread, they don't put any yeast in the bread. If you put yeast in the bread, it's what makes it get all nice and big and fluffy. Yeast raises the bread up. Just a little bit of yeast will raise the bread up. But they decided not to have any yeast in the bread. It's flat, very flat bread. And if you notice, the bread has holes in it. Look at your bread. The bread has holes in it. Now the holes represent the holes that were put in Jesus' body. There were holes put in his hands, wrists, feet. There are also holes placed on his head when they put the crown of what? Thorns on his head. Do you think the crown of thorns felt good?
No.
You think the crown of thorns is something you can go to the store, Target, and buy, put it on, have some fun with it? No. Crown of thorns had thorns in it. Anybody ever touched a rose bush? Anybody ever touched a rose bush? What's on the rose? What's on the rose? It's a beautiful flower, but what's on the rose? Thorns. Do those thorns feel good? No. Watch my hands. Rose bush thorns are that big. Thorns in the thorn of crowns on Jesus' head. Watch my hands. Thorns were that big. And do you think they went like this? They just took the crown of thorns and just kind of just put it on his head and said, hey, that's cool? No. I'll tell you what they did. For my Lord, they took the crown of thorns, they forced it down on his head. What came out of him? When they pierced his hands, what came out of him? When they pierced his feet, what came out of him? Jesus said to his disciples, listen, I'm going to be leaving you tomorrow. I'm going to return though, which is what we're going to celebrate tomorrow and Sunday. But for tonight, we're going to think about Jesus dying. He took the bread and he said, look guys, whenever you see this bread, I want you to take it, I want you to eat it, and I want you to remember my body, which was sacrificed for you. I want you to take the bread, boys and girls, take the bread, I want you to eat it. Right now. Now that bread represents what? Jesus what? Body. Everybody say the bread represents the body. Say it again. The bread represents the body. What does the bread represent? What does the body represent? What does the bread represent? What does the body represent? So he tells his disciples that when the disciples ate the bread. And then he took this cup of wine. It's not wine, guys, it's juice. Okay? He took the juice and he gave it to them. What color is it? Red. Color's your blood when it hits the air. Red. He told them when you take this cup, you drink it, but you drink it. And as you drink it, I want you to remember me. Jesus said, I want you to remember me. Why do you take pictures of your friends?
Remember them.
Jesus said, when you drink this, do it in remembrance of me. Drink it. Now, as you get older, boys and girls, you will begin to understand just how mega, super important it is to take the bread and the juice with a clear conscience, a clear mind. Here's what God tells us. If you are about to take this, the bread and the wine, if you have something inside of you that you've done that was wrong, or you have a bad feeling towards somebody else, or if you are dealing with something inside, don't touch that until you go first and clear with your friend or your enemy. He said some people have even fallen asleep, and he's talking about people who have died or gotten sick from taking this without having a clear conscience. So I want you to think about that as you get older.